Hiya.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
How are you settling in at the Brit?
I love it. It's
Great.
amazing. Yeah, there's a prairie right out there. And I can walk in it whenever I want to.
Nice. What exactly are you doing there?
I am the program manager for homeschool, scouts, summer camp, basically like non-ISD.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah. So trying to figure it out and getting there.
You will probably start getting looped in on our summit planning if you haven't already been,
I have not.
since we're going to be there.
When is it?
December 3rd and December 2 and 3.
Okay, awesome. Yeah.
So
Yeah, sure.
usually I'm working with Lydia, Tracy, and Cheryl, but because Lydia is going to be out on leave, maybe when we have the summit. So looping in several other Brit people so that we're all ready to go. So
Yeah.
Hey, everybody.
how's everyone else doing today?
Good.
We'll go ahead and give people a few more minutes here since we had quite a few more registered. For those just joining, we'll give everybody a few more minutes to get in the room and then we'll get started.
Has anyone done anything cool in nature this last month? Any exciting stories?
I don't know that it's exciting, but I love Cedar Ridge Preserve. And so that's my happy spot. And I went by myself last weekend. And I think I'm going Sunday again. So that's it. But with children, no, just by myself.
Hey, going out in nature by yourself is also needed.
I'll say one more thing. Sorry, I'm not trying to take over. We at my school, we just built and planted a pollinator garden and an herb garden for the students when we come back, and we'll have raised beds to plant or for vegetables. So that's new also.
What are you planning on pickling, Mary Jo?
Jalapenos and some cucumbers too. And basically, because I'm kind of working with younger kids, they'll just pickle anything because why not? It'll be interesting. We're going to pickle.
Nice.
Exactly.
We did some quick pickling in one of our camps this week too.
Dustin, I don't have any panicked emails from anyone telling me they can't get in. So I'll keep watching the waiting room, but I think we might be good for now.
All right, sounds good. Well, welcome everyone. We have some new and or haven't been seen in a while faces. So I thought maybe we could do some quick introductions before we get started. Sarah, you wanna give us a hello?
Hi, everyone. Sarah Coles, Executive Director of Texas Children in Nature Network. Technically, I am in Austin. I am not in the North Texas region, but we cover the whole state. So, and I'm sure with our summit coming up in December, which I'll talk about a little bit more later, y'all will see a lot of me over the next 6 months. So glad to see everyone.
Anna.
Hi everybody, my name's Anna Sorel. I'm the Learning Manager for Special Programs at Fort Worth Botanic Garden Britt. I just started, I'm pretty new, it's been about a month, so I'm still figuring things out. And I'm also on the board of the Informal Science Education Association of Texas, and I'm happy to be here with all of you.
All righty, Dr. Johnson.
Sandra Johnson. I write curriculum for informal science organizations, and I was doing professional development, but I haven't done much since COVID came.
Mary Jo.
Hello, everybody. My name's Mojo Green. I'm obviously British, but here I am in North Texas. So I've lived here for about 6 years, and for about the past 4 years, I'm a school garden educator. So I go out to various schools in the Fort Worth area. So I work a couple off my own kind of steam, but I also partner with the Blue Zones the Blue Zone project here in Fort Worth, and I mentor and work in about 12 Title I Fort Worth ISD schools. So yeah, so I've just applied to present at your summit actually. So hence why I am on your call today. So I'm quite new to your organization, but I'm thrilled to be on the call today. So thank you for having me.
Welcome. Gretchen.
Hi, I'm Gretchen Paulum. I teach middle school science at the Green Hill School in Dallas. And I worked with Dustin at the Perot, and then collaborated when I was at the Lamplighter School with the Arboretum. And I mean, I don't know. I'm like I'm excited to be a part of the organization. And I have 3 children who love to be outside. I don't know if they like it as much as me, but I think I kind of like got them interested. And so hopefully they'll continue on in their lives, like being passionate about the environment. I think they will. They have to. So anyway, it's nice to meet you all.
Welcome, Gretchen. Good to see you. Lindsay?
Hello, I work at Trinity Park Conservancy, which is working on I'm seeing people nod. I'm so excited. It's not Trinity River Audubon Center, so don't get excited about the wrong thing. But if you know about, how people love the Trinity in Fort Worth, I think that's sort of my take on the vision for creating more of a park destination along the Trinity right by downtown Dallas. Also using that space to connect downtown with West Dallas and North Oak Cliff, which are historically marginalized. So it's a dual function. Personally, I'm also involved with the Master Naturalists and sort of a nature fan in general. I am sort of an embodiment of Gretchen's wish, which is, the beneficiary of lots of people taking me outside as a kid. So I'm glad to be here. This is my first meeting, and we met Sarah at the Texan by Nature conference, which is how we came to be plugged in.
Awesome. Welcome aboard. I just met Tony last week. Reza, you're up.
Hi, how are you doing? My name is Yogi. I just moved to Texas like not that long ago. I just recently got a program manager position for an organization called Earth Force, in which we are involving young kids in environmental education and civic action. I initially contacted Sarah just to get a little bit of a scope of how environmental education works here in Texas. So that's how I came here.
Great. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Katie, long time no see.
Making sure this time that it's the right Katie, because there was another Katie last time. So my name is Katie Grimes, and I'm the early childhood manager here at the Dallas Zoo. And we do have a licensed preschool and childcare center on site that I'm the site director for. And I heard Mary Jo talking so much about her gardening. I wanted to share that we've been making a big push with ours as well, and are putting in sensory gardens. And we did a 3-sister garden this last 3 weeks, and we are building out raised beds. We actually grow vegetables that we can feed the animals here at the zoo, and that's such a fun connection to do. So on the side, I'm actually a horticultural therapist as well, and have just had a really wonderful time connecting our children with nature. And we're looking forward to opening our 2nd classroom back up to get us back up to our pre-COVID standards, and hoping to see that happen in September.
Great. Great to have you here today. And Luke?
Hello. So I actually worked with Dustin down in the education department at the Dallas Arboretum, and I took a little time off for COVID, and now I'm back as the interim public programs manager at the Children's Adventure Garden.
And outdoor Amy?
Hey everybody, I'm Outdoor Amy. That's my Twitter handle if you want to follow me on Twitter. Amy Holland says my other name. I'm the Outdoor Learning Center Coordinator for Northwest ISD. We are located, you know where Texas Motor Speedway is, on West North 35 between Fort Worth and Denton. Our district's over there. So we have a facility for students to come to us for field experiences in outdoor science and environmental education. I'm sorry I've missed out on a few of the last meetings. And our program is currently not active, thanks to some budget and protocol things, but we're trying to pivot to some campus-based learning. And that is a challenge for a lot of our campuses to think, oh, we can do outdoor learning on our own campus? Well, yes, you can. So trying to really connect children to nature through their families and communities on their school campuses. So I'm glad to be here.
Thank you. Matt?
Hi, can you hear me all right?
Yep, you're good.
Okay, I am Matt Dusa and I'm with Green Space Learning. Pretty much I get to design and install nature-based playgrounds, outdoor learning environments for early education and up. And yeah, just trying to perpetuate a lot of that interest and intrigue with childcare facilities here in Texas. So I've got to do work in Austin, Houston, and we're based in Fort Worth. And so, yeah, doing a number of builds and installments here in the Fort Worth area.
Excellent. Great to have you. And Joanne. Joanne, can you hear us? There you are.
Oh, Joanne, I think you're on mute.
There we go. Thank you. So I was checking out of the grocery store and was just going to listen in, and my link didn't work. So I'm just now getting in using my phone. So I'm with the Nature Prairies Association of Texas, the Native Prairie Association of Texas, and I'm on the board of the state. I'm a former teacher, and we are involved in doing some education outreach that we want to get out to all public school educators. In October, we're going to do a statewide workshop for teachers. And then included in that, in the Fort Worth, Austin, Houston, San Antonio, possibly a couple other places, we will be having field experiences. So teachers can come out and actually go to a real prairie. And we have some master naturalists and members of our organization that will train the teachers, and they will be leaving with activities they can do in their classroom, activities they can do on prairies, resources. We're real excited about it, but we need to get the word out. So I came today hoping that that will help. I just saw a Northwest ISD person, which would be perfect. We do have a new outreach coordinator in the North Texas area that is helping to manage our prairies that are in the Northeast area, actually working statewide. But she will be involved in this as well. Dr. Carly Alecki was just hired. So we've got a new headquarters building in Austin. We conserve over 5,000 acres of Texas prairie. So anyway, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. I'm a retired teacher and have taken prairies on as my favorite thing to do. So if anybody's interested in getting the word out to teachers about the workshop, I would love to get it out there. Thanks.
Joanne, if you want to send me the information on the workshop, I can share it out through our networks.
Okay, perfect.
All right, well, welcome everyone. So glad to have you here today, and great to see so many new faces. So we'll go ahead and get started with our agenda. We'll get our state update from Sarah, and then I'll let her roll right into the summit update as well.
Okay, let me get my notes out. So right now we are doing kind of our big push is to get partners signed on to be official partners of Texas Children in Nature Network. I know a lot of you on this call, your organizations have already become members, but if you have not yet, it is not too late. You can definitely still become a member, become a partner. And what that means, there's no fee involved with being a partner. It's completely free. But you do get some perks for being a partner. One is you get to register early for our summit, which is in Fort Worth. Partner registration will open on August 1st. And then we also are going to have partner networking events. We'll have some just kind of regular virtual and then maybe even in-person events as things kind of start opening up for our partners. And then we also are doing partner highlights on our social media. So it's a great way to share information about your organization as well. We just did one about the National Ranching and Heritage Center up in Caprock that went our version of viral. It got a ton of likes and it got shared a ton. So it was a great way to get information about them out. That was really exciting. So especially it's a great way to share about your organizations. So if you are interested in becoming a partner, I'm going to drop the link in the chat. It's just a Google form. So it's real easy for you to do. If you have any questions about that, or if anyone in your organization has questions about that as you're working on that, please feel free to reach out. I am happy to share with you all. Next up with that, now that everyone's starting to do events again, it's time to start posting things on Nature Rocks North Texas if you are not already. And I know it has probably been 2 years since any of you have put anything on Nature Rocks North Texas. And so I was wondering, I'm kind of polling our partners, do you all think it would be helpful for me to set up just a Zoom time of here's how to post on Nature Rocks in case you forgot? Yes, I'm seeing some nods. Okay. I can definitely get that on our calendar to do something like that. And then with that in mind, we have 3 really great webinars coming up, and I will put these links in the chat as well as we go through. The first is on August 4th, and it is with Bird Ability. So that is a group, one of our partners in San Antonio, and they are focused on birding for people with disabilities. And so if any of you are leading birding walks or nature walks or anything like that at your site, I think this would be a great opportunity to hear what they have to say. It is a disability-led organization, and so it's a great chance to hear from the people that are heading up this organization on what they love to see when they go out. So it's going to be a really good one, and it is selling out quick. So make sure you register. It got shared with Audubon, not just Texas Audubon. So it's selling fast. And then September 1st webinar is with a group called Austin Youth River Watch. They are an organization out of Austin who is working with high school students. Particularly, they work with Black and Latino students that haven't had an opportunity to learn about conservation careers. And so they are working with them. It is a paid program, so they are, the students are paid. They don't pay for the program. The students are paid to work with this program, and they go out and do water quality testing, riverbed restoration in both public lands and then also on private lands. But the trade-off is then they also get to go and do really cool camping trips and hikes. And so they have a really interesting relationship with a lot of their ranchers around Austin, where they are kind of trading. So they will come in and do water restoration or water quality testing for the ranchers, and then the students get to use their land where they wouldn't otherwise have access. So this program is going to be highlighting Austin Youth River Watch, but it's going to be led by the students who are part of that program. And so you're going to be able to hear from them and how kind of important it is for their love of nature that this program has really fostered for them. And then the other one is a topic everyone loves to hear about. On September 16th, we will be hosting a How to Get Your Texas Parks and Wildlife Grant webinar. And so anyone who is interested in either their co-op grants or their rec trails grants or their local parks grants, All of their grant officers are going to be on this webinar to answer all of your questions. And so it is, if any of you write grants, this is a must go to. And so it's going to be September 16th. Go ahead, Dustin.
And Sarah, I think we actually have a couple people in here that have had previous grants or are currently working with Texas Parks and Wildlife grants as well.
Great. Yeah. I had a call as we were prepping, and I was like, I've written co-op grants, and I've done co-op grants, and I've also like administered the local parks and rec grants. And so they are all different. If anyone has, they all have their own quirks and they're all different. And so being able to have all of those questions answered, I think is going to be really helpful, especially with there is money coming to Texas Parks and Wildlife specifically for park buildings. So those rec trails grants and those local parks grants, they are getting a lot of money out of some federal funds that were released that is going to the states to then give to municipalities and to nonprofits. And so definitely there is going to be a lot of funding available soon for that. And then also those of you, especially those of you that are at schools or any of you who are working more directly with cities, the America's Recovery Plan funding, the ARPA funding, is currently available, and they are really looking for ways to address inequities in communities, and nature is a big one of those, and a big way that we can start making some strides, especially for health inequities that have been highlighted over this last year and a half. So be kind of pushing to get some of that ARPA funding that's out for communities. And I am working on how to get you guys some language and different things you can work on with that. So be on the lookout. You'll be getting a lot of good emails soon. I did share on our social media some ways to look for your ARPA funding, and I'll put that link in the chat as well. And so that's kind of most of our kind of state updates. Any questions about any of that before I roll into summit updates? Okay, so summit is December 2 and 3. It's at the Brit in Fort Worth Botanic Gardens. So Anna is one of our lovely hosts for the summit. So is Cheryl. And so we are going to be, it's going to be 2 days. We have got some fantastic keynote speakers. The first is going to be Angela Hanscom. She wrote the book Balanced and Barefoot. If you haven't read that, it is one of my high recommends for anyone who's getting into this field. It's right up there, in my opinion, with Last Child in the Woods. It'll be changing of the way you think about how kids interact with nature. And then our other keynote is Lisa Carlson. She'll be our keynote on Friday. She is the immediate past president of the American Public Health Association and has spent this last year really noticing that the #1 indicator of how people are reacting to COVID is their access to green space. And so she is going to be talking about that during her talk. I've had several kind of Zoom calls with her getting ready for the keynote, and I can tell you she will be super inspirational. You do not want to miss hearing her talk. She's going to be fantastic. And then, as I said, registration for our partners will open on August 1st. Registration is going to be the $150 mark is most likely what it's going to be for early bird registration. And then we've got a hotel block as well lined up. Not that many of you probably will need it, but you never know if you're in Dallas and you're like, I really don't want to drive to Fort Worth every morning to do this conference. So those are our main summit updates. If you put in a program, a session proposal, I'm hoping to get that information to you first week of August-ish. If your session was accepted. Our programming committee is meeting in the morning. So hopefully I'll have answers for you soon.
Great, thank you, Sarah. Any questions on summit or state updates before we move on?
Is this the national conference or a state conference? I mean, the state conference for Texas Children in Nature, right?
Yes, it's the state conference. The next National Children in Nature Network conference will be in May in Atlanta.
Okay.
Yeah.
But at least the price point's not totally out of reach like they've been in the past, so that's good.
Yeah.
All right, any more?
That is all. Oh, sorry. Any more questions?
Perfect. One summit update for me is one thing that is a major fundraiser for TCINN is our silent auction. One thing that we can do here in North Texas is really pool our resources in terms of our informal organizations that we work for. So what we're looking for are donations of experiences, whether that is free tickets to your organization, whether it's a behind the scenes tour, free admission to a chat or a program, anything like that would be amazing. What I'll do is put contact information for myself in the notes, and you can send those through me. I'm collecting for the region. If you have partners that you typically work with that aren't represented here today, we would love if you could reach out to them, or if you provide me with a contact, we are happy to do so as well. Sarah, anything else on that update?
I think that's it. Once again, if you have any questions about the summit, feel free to reach out. Happy to talk to you about it. Also happy to share any information with anyone who you may be trying to convince to let you go. Hope to see you all there.
All right, thank you. All right, next up are programming updates. So when we last met 2 months ago, we talked about our summer plans, and we wanted to give people some time to check back in and share some of their summer successes here. I know a few of you shared things as we did intros, but if anyone wants to share out some summer successes at your sites, now is your chance.
I'll say something. So we're building a new science building. So tearing down the old one, it's going to be a 2-year project, but I'm hoping that we will establish or reestablish Blackland Prairie around or at least in some part around the building. And in the meantime, we're doing, we do birding, but we do it through the Cornell School and use that info. And like I said before, we've built a pollinator garden or planted the pollinator garden, herb garden that we're using with our cafeteria, and then growing as much as we can, and then hoping to donate that to the North Texas Food Bank. So.
Anyone else? Anna, you want to share about those cute little bee water holders that you shared on social media?
Yeah, I don't know a whole lot about them, but there's an artist, I believe her name is Jen Rose, and I can put the link to her website in the chat in just a minute. But she makes these little ceramic, they're made out of porcelain, but they're bee cups. And so they're just little cups that have a little pointer on the end. They stick in the ground. We have about an exhibit outside in one of our gardens. It's about 3,000 of them. And when it rains, the water collects in them, and they're just for pollinators, bees and butterflies, to come and drink some water. So we have them in our gift shop, and I bought some yesterday to put in my yard.
Anyone else?
Anna, are those mosquito breeding type things, or do you know?
I actually don't know. They're not very big. They don't hold very much water, I imagine. I don't know how much water mosquitoes actually need to be able to breed.
A teaspoon.
Yeah, so it might be, but they do. I've noticed that like it also evaporates pretty quickly. So even after a rain, it doesn't hold water for very long.
Cool.
I'll chime in. They are designed to be mosquito free. They only hold a couple of drops. They evaporate over the course of a couple of hours, and there's a little texture on the inside of the cup so that pollinators have a foothold. They won't get trapped in the water, but it really is just a teeny tiny amount. The artist did a lot of research, and I think she designed them really well.
How long is that exhibit going to be open?
Ooh, that's what I don't know.
I think it'll be here through November, I believe.
Are they located outside the Britt building?
They are in the Fuller Garden on the Fort Worth Botanic Garden side.
Oh, okay, great.
Any more summer updates? All right, I'm sure like my team here, most of you are knee-deep in fall planning. Anyone want to share what fall looks like for you as far as we know?
We don't have a ton of interim programming between now and some larger park updates coming in the fall, but we are partnering with the Highline Network, which is a national group of parks being created sort of as infrastructure reuse projects. And they are trying to highlight insects during a digital event in September. And so while we didn't have the bandwidth to do an in-person event to be part of that celebration, we're producing a digital guide that'll go out to all of our followers and subscribers. It's about 20,000 people. So if any of you have an insect education resource that you would like us to link to, then please let me know. I'm not sure the best way for me to collect that. I'll put my email in the chat. And if you have something that you think I should check out and include, I'd really like it to be North Texas specific and highlight, the native insects that we have here rather than, the moths of Madagascar or something. So, looking at things that are hands-on that people can do and go just a step further than like reading about it online. So we've got some tips on how to make a bug net and things like that, but open to suggestions. So here's my email.
Great. I will drop this into our notes. Some shameless self-promotion, and you want to talk about our insect-focused programming for fall?
Sure. So we are having our Autumn at the Arboretum Festival, and we will have, it's called Bugtopia. We will have, I don't even know how many large insect topiaries. Dustin, you might know how many of them. And we're going to have programming around everything to do with insects, bugs. We're going to do butterfly tagging. We will have vendors that will have presentations about insects. We're going to have the zoo out to talk about some insect eating creatures. And let's see, we'll have, Dustin, you know more about the other end of the property. What's going on there? Do you want to tell them about that?
Yes, we will have an insect encounters tent open daily. On the weekends, it'll be special guests like John Watts from Texas Discovery Garden. We have the singing entomologist coming up from Austin. I don't know if anyone knows him. We'll have beekeepers. Throughout the week, we'll have ladybug releases, a bee colony, just about anything insect related that's hands-on, we will have it.
That's amazing. What are the dates?
September 18th through October 31st.
Perfect. Yeah, I would love to promote that in the digital guide that we're putting together. So if there's anything specific that you want us to promote, I'll just connect with you guys offline, but thanks for letting us know.
Sounds good. Yeah, definitely. I'll connect with you too, Sarah. Any other fall updates?
Oh, sure. Yeah. It's not open yet, but it will be early August. We'll be starting our early childhood professional development series back up. So if you know early childhood educators, they can be at centers or working within a school district, but we'll do 4 Saturdays as a series of professional development, focusing on outdoor learning.
Cheryl, what's the cost of the series?
The cost of the series to register is $100. That's for all 4 Saturdays, and we feed you. And really that carries you through 3 years of professional development, because anyone who completes the 4 Saturdays gets to come back for a reflective year where they start a personal project. And we'll have resources and support for those personal projects. And then the 3rd year, they come back and present to our 1st year cohort.
Sounds amazing.
Who are you with, Anna?
Britt, Fort Worth Botanic Garden.
Oh, okay, cool. And their workshops are amazing. Are there any Fort Worth teachers here? No? Okay.
Kind of. I kind of work in a lot of schools in Fort Worth. So I'm not an actual Fort Worth teacher, but I work in Fort Worth schools in the ISD, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay, then this might be something you could help with, or
definitely, absolutely. I was just scribbling.
Karen Bishop of the National Wildlife Federation has contacted me about trying to get Fort Worth schools involved in getting money to build their gardens for pollinators, for monarch gardens. They haven't, they had a couple, but this last year, because of everything crazy, nobody signed up. So she's trying to get the word out to get schools on board. So I have that information, or I can send her your name or whatever.
Yeah, please do, because like I said in the introduction, is that I work quite closely with the Blue Zones project, and they partner with about 40 different schools in the district. So absolutely, between us, we can absolutely get that word out for Karen. So yes, let's do that.
Okay, cool. I work for Fort Worth ISD as well as a
Oh, you do? I
haven't done that very much because of COVID. I'm hoping that the beginning of the year is better than it's been.
Oh, gosh.
One more thing, I don't know whether this is where it fits or not, but there is a pollinator partnership committee that is citywide for Fort Worth ISD. I know Britt has participated, the Fort Worth Zoo has participated. So if anybody here is in Fort Worth proper and wants to get involved with the pollinator ambassador, which is the Mayor for Monarch Pledge, to try to always get as many pollinator gardens as we can going. That we are looking for more people to be on the committee. So if you're interested in that as well.
Yeah, I know I'm kind of a little bit cross at the ISD at the moment. I'm desperately trying for them to, I'm always cross at the ISD. about, that there's absolutely no oversight whatsoever over school gardens. They don't know how many school gardens they have in the ISD. They don't. They genuinely don't. So I work with the Tarrant Area Food Policy Council, and we've got a small working group together to try and map exactly what's out there on the school properties. So please keep in touch about that as well, because I think that information.
Okay, I need your contact info.
You'd absolutely do, and I think that would be massively very interesting for everybody. So I kind of rampage around for and the ISD trying to that, because they desperately need some kind of coordination or some kind of oversight from one department or another. So yeah. Anyway, so please
perfect.
do.
Maybe we can brainstorm.
Yes, let's do that. Let's do that. Let's get cross together.
Mary Jo, in Austin, they had a similar problem. They weren't sure it was on all the campuses. So in Austin, their parks department and then their outdoor learning specialist got together and created a matrix. Basically, it's a survey that got what every campus had on it. So be on the lookout. I'm going to do a connection email to them so you can get that tool, because I think that'll make it so much easier.
Yes, thank you so much. Honestly, I think there's just a couple of us that are just trying to get this done at the moment. And I get it, because their focus isn't on their gardens at the moment. But like you said, they've clung to the gardens this year and have used their outdoor spaces to be safe and be able to open. So please don't tell me they're not important. Do you know what I mean? Or at all, they need to be incorporated moving forward. So yeah, I mean, I'm preaching to the choir talking to you guys, I know that, but yeah, Fort Worth seriously does need some kind of like little tightening up around the connections and around the information and oversight. So yeah, everybody get in touch. I need all your help.
All right, any final fall updates? All right, next up, looking to the future for fall meetings and the end of the year. We put this on hold in the spring, but I wanted to bring it back up. Discussion of if we want to continue on Zoom or begin meeting in person, and what does that look like? Is it meeting Fort Worth and Dallas separately, meeting all together? Kind of wanted to open that up for discussion and see where everyone is at.
I'll just jump in here. For me, the Zoom format works really well because we are, with the preschool, it's very difficult for anyone to get away for a meeting, and this allows us to participate in a way that we wouldn't be able to otherwise.
Agree.
Yes, I also, because I sub, and the meetings have been impossible usually to get to by the time I get out of school. So I like to keep my finger in the pot to see what's going on, and I can get on Zooms in the parking lot if I have to.
Yeah. Justin, can I ask, where do you ordinarily meet? Where is the place that you have the meetings?
So historically, it has varied across the Metroplex to kind of give equal coverage.
Sure. Okay.
Even if it's not fully online, if there was an in-person component for those people who wanted to meet in person and still be able to Zoom in if that works for you. I don't know if anyone has tested that hybrid type model, but that would even be helpful, I think, for those of us who can't make it in person.
It seems like there's a pretty big geographic spread, but we sometimes host hybrid models at the Conservancy offices, which are sort of in the western part of Dallas. So maybe in the distant future, whenever people are ready to do that, I'm just throwing that out there as a location option.
Another option that had been floated past me was looking at building some socials in, kind of on both ends of the Metroplex, still having these formal meetings on Zoom, but then trying to build in perhaps a quarterly social. Thoughts on that?
I like that. I like that because I think for the formal meetings, it can be really hard to just get across the Metroplex one way or the other with traffic and everything. but I would love some opportunities to see people in person, just maybe not critical meetings.
Yeah, perhaps we could look at a couple of our overlapping networks and build a social around those. Sandra?
I was just going to say, I like the Zoom meetings too, especially since COVID is heating back up. I have some underlying conditions that make it impossible for me to be out, even outside sometimes. Like right now, the Saharan dust is here and I can't breathe when I go outside.
All right, it sounds like we're all generally on the same page here. Is there anyone interested in helping to plan a social perhaps for this fall? And then we'll continue with our Zoom meetings.
Sure, Dustin, I can help.
All right, we've got Lindsay from Dallas and Cheryl from Fort Worth that will help plan.
I was going to volunteer Anna also. I know Cheryl, you know Anna. She might jump in there with you as well. Oh, Anna here at the zoo. Sorry, not not trying to volunteer you there.
Yep,
Anna's everywhere.
I'll loop her in.
Justin, depending on the date, I'll probably try to be up there for the fall social.
Sarah, do you have another planning date coming up for the summit? It's possible that we could try to plan that social around.
I don't have one on the calendar right now, but I think that we're thinking about having probably one in the first couple weeks of September, doing a kind of reception-centric planning meeting up there. So around then would be great. October is starting to fill up. So if you were thinking October, just let me know like as soon as possible.
All right, I will start a separate email chain with this group of people, including Anna at the zoo, and we will get some potential dates out there and go from there. All right, the last item that was on the agenda is if anyone wants to share out current job openings.
Sure. I have 2 job openings at the, can you hear me? Okay, at the Children's Adventure Garden at the Dallas Arboretum. So we have a STEM lab specialist position. It's full-time, 40 hours a week, where you have 4 labs a day that are interactive with students. The topics vary. You would help write new topics. And let's see, then I have a gallery facilitator opening, which you're interacting with the public to get them interested in the exhibits, and help impart some science and fun into their day.
All right, got it. Anybody else?
Not at our location, but I sit on an advisory committee for a local school here, and they are looking for a garden educator. So if you want to go work for Fort Worth ISD, send them my way and I can funnel them to the principal who's looking.
What school is that, Cheryl?
It's Alice Carlson.
Oh, they've got an amazing garden.
Can I just ask about Alice Carlson? Are the Master Garden program, are they no longer doing that?
The what program?
The Master Gardeners, the Tarrant County Master Gardeners were heavily involved in Alice Carlson. So is that no longer a partnership, or are they just looking for somebody standalone?
They're looking for They're looking for someone specific to like host classes and guide classes through garden education.
Yeah, it's so I just need to double check. And are the master gardeners still maintaining the garden space, or will the maintenance of the garden space fall to the garden educator? Do you know?
I don't think that we've had maintenance performed by the master gardeners at Alice Carlson in a number of years.
Okay.
I know that the PTA has a dad group that has been coming out, and like they came out after the big freeze and cleared some stuff out, but for the most part, not a lot of community support at this point.
Yeah, I know that the master gardeners went very quiet during COVID. I know that they didn't go out and do as much of their outreach, at all, really. So I wonder if that might pick up again, kind of come the next school year, fingers crossed. So anyway, thank you, Cheryl, for that. I'll definitely put the word out amongst people I know.
Yeah.
That's disappointing. They've been involved in that for years and years.
Exactly. I know they are. I mean, that's the one school in the ISD that the Master Gardener program does support. So I do hope it was just a lull because of COVID, and that they do go back to that, because their Master Gardener garden is next door to Alice Carlson's outdoor learning environment. So they're kind of there.
And they had a principal change at the beginning of the school year last year. So it might just be a need to connect everyone again.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of that going on. There's an enormous amount of principal change this year, actually, moving forward. Lots of retirements and lots of moving around. So I think the schools are going to, and after the whole COVID, it's still kind of going on, isn't it? So there's going to be a lot of settling.
So yeah, the garden still looks great. The nature space still looks great.
Brilliant.
You know, nobody has really let it slide. I think they're really just looking for someone to build curriculum for their K-5 classes.
Awesome. Okay. Super duper.
Yeah. So there is an option for a field trip that's local and close to Fort Worth schools. The Northwest campus of TCC is doing a prairie restoration, and they have a prairie that they're building themselves. They have a prairie garden that you can wander through where plants are labeled. They have a small little classroom thing that's built there, so you could go and do actual field experiences. It's a great resource that they've just gotten really going in the last couple of years. So that's a good place to not go very far if you're a Fort Worth school, even preschools, I think. And it's possible, I can connect you with the people that are doing it. It's possible you might get some students from the Fort Worth High School there that are involved as kind of the green stewards of the school. I can't think of what they call their program, but they would.
Yeah, it's a summer camp. Yeah, Greta and the Davids have done an excellent job. I think they opened their outdoor classroom during COVID. It was set to open like in April 2020.
So you're familiar with Greta and David? Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, they're one of our partners here, and one of our success stories with the Native Prairies Association. We've helped them a lot.
Yeah. All right. Any more job openings that anyone would like to share out? All right, we've got just a few minutes left. If there's anything that we have not discussed or shared out, or if anyone wants to discuss any other topics, now is your chance. And Cheryl, if you can drop your preferred email for people to contact you on that position, I'll drop that into the notes as well. Alrighty, well, I want to thank everyone for your time today. We got some really great updates. Looks like some new connections with people that haven't met before. So I'd say this was a successful July meeting, and I'll get these notes sent out as soon as we finish this call so that you've got them and can connect with everyone on the topics we discussed.
I did record today's meeting as well, so I will get that up as soon as possible. I have one more meeting after this, but after that, I should be able to get it posted so that anyone who didn't come to the meeting can watch this, all of y'all smiling faces. So.
All righty. Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Sarah, for your leadership, and we will see you all very soon.
Bye.
Great. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.